Welcome to the HealthManagement.org Digitalk on clinical decision support with Professor Elmar Kotter from University Medical Center Freiburg in Germany. Professor Kotter is as well president of EUSOMI, the largest growing society in Europe, and on top of this, he is a decade-long supporter on the editorial board of HealthManagement.org. Professor Kotter, EUSOMI has just signed a partnership agreement with Health Management. What was the motivation in doing so?
Well, first of all, Christian, thank you for inviting me to this interview. It's a great honor, of course. And regarding your question, well, I think there's really a great overlap of interest between what HealthManagement.org and what EUSOMI is doing. EUSOMI is like a think tank of on the use of information technology in radiology. And as you said, I have been with the editorial board of HealthManagement.org for many years now and know very well what you are doing. So for me, it was very natural to establish a partnership here.
That's indeed a very great and a very exciting collaboration. And at the end of the day, we have been anyhow partnering with EUSOMI since many, many years, already dated back to Europax. But we see a huge opportunity in a further growth and in a further development. Now, let us focus on clinical decision support. How would you define clinical decision support? And what is the primary use to support radiologists?
Well, clinical decision support in a very broad sense is anything you can do, of course, using information technology to help clinicians to make a better decision in the diagnostic or therapeutic process. So, of course, in radiology, the primary use of decision support systems will be to support diagnostic decision making. We see the information is really growing every year, year after year, and we have like an exponential growth of the information we are confronted with, while the number of radiologists is not growing the same way. So we have more information, we have to deal with more information. We also have to deal with more complex information, and decision making becomes more and more complex for us radiologists. And that is where decision support systems come in helping us to handle with this huge amount of information and also to analyze complex information that is getting more complex year after year.
What are the main characteristics a decision support system should have for application in clinical radiological practice?
Well, if you want to use clinical decision systems, the main characteristics you have to ask for is that their reliability is proven. And that is still an issue today with many of those AI systems on the market, which do not really have a proven reliability. Also, we will need to integrate those decision support systems in our daily radiologist workflow. It doesn't help us really if you have some kind of remote decision support system which is not integrated in your workflow, and so you're not going to use it. And also the recommendations that the decision support system is making need to be transparent. It doesn't mean that everything must be explainable, which is a huge discussion regarding AI, but in some way, the radiologist must be able to understand how the decision or the recommendation was produced by the system. He must be able to understand what's going on.
What are the most important factors considered by a radiologist when evaluating such a clinical decision support tools?
Well, there are different ways to analyze the system. One would be of course, the scientific way. You do evaluations, you check for accuracy and so on. That's one part. The other part is in your daily work, you also must feel comfortable with the system, and you must get the feeling that the system is really helping you. And sometimes it's a problem of perception because, of course, naturally, as a radiologist, you have a tendency to be more happy. Let's say if you have a tool for fracture detection, you are much more happy if you find a fracture that the AI system is not detecting than the other way around. If the AI finds a fracture you are not detecting, well, that's not so nice for you. So you have to be comfortable and with any clinical decision system you're going to use.
CAD systems have been used by radiologists since quite a while. What is the difference between CAD and the decision support system?
Well, there is overlap between both. As you have been saying, CAD system, which were not based initially on AI systems, have been in use for almost 20-25 years now, and for some applications have been very reliable, like detecting lung nodules on CT. This has been proved for a long time that it's working very well. But of course, decision support systems is a much broader term than only having a computer-aided detection, because you want to integrate, if you're thinking really about decision support, more information. You are talking about more complex data or information. Like think about longitudinal information, the evolution of the tumor burden for a given patient, or think about patient pathways where you want to take decisions on therapeutic measures for a particular patient on his pathway, analyzing where he stands on his pathway, comparing this to the pathways where other patients have been. Then it becomes very, very complex. You're integrating a lot of information, and that's more on the side of decision support systems.
What are the main benefits for a radiologist using a clinical decision support system?
Well, on one side, if you think about the more simple detection systems, it could act like a safety net for radiologists. It will enhance the work of the radiologist by helping him not to miss lesions in the images he is looking at. And then, as I have already been saying, when handling with more complex information, it will help the radiologist to find his way through this complex information and to have all the elements to take a decision with the recommendations at his hands.
Decision support may have some trust issues. What are primary criteria for doctors being able to trust and to adopt such tools?
Yeah, there's much discussion about trustworthy AI, and I really think that is very, very important. And I have already been saying reliability of AI solutions is very important. You really need reliable solutions which have been proved by scientific evaluation and also by their application in practice. And also you need to integrate it in the workflow of radiology. But if you're asking me for really one key factor, it is about trust. And trust needs to build over the time. You don't get trust into AI or into a particular AI system by just turning it on and using it, and you trust it from the first day. So that's a matter of time. Radiologists have to get used, first of all, to the idea of AI and decision support systems helping them in their daily work. And then they also have to get used to the particular decision support systems or AI system they are using at their workplace.
One can imagine that the future of healthcare will be an intelligent mix of human, computers, and technology. What major trends do you foresee?
It's difficult to see one major trend. You have so many applications of decision support systems in radiology when you think about the whole workflow in radiology. That starts with scheduling. You can think about optimization of examination protocols. Of course, the diagnostic applications of AI, that's what everybody is talking about today. And it ends with integrated diagnostic. That's what we have been discussing a few minutes ago. I think really the trend will be having many systems assisting the radiologists, the technologists, and also the administrative people in the Department of Radiology to do their work in a more reliable way.
Now, the hype in radiology of the last few years is clearly artificial intelligence. Is there any magic key to implement successfully AI in the radiology?
The one magic key would be reimbursement for AI. We know today that there are AI systems working quite well that can help us in our clinical routine, but at least in Germany and in many other European countries, there is no additional payment for the use of AI. And of course, you're not getting those AI systems without money. You have to pay for. And it is very difficult today to convince your administration that you are going to pay for AI systems. They are immediately going to ask you, okay, then can we work with less radiologists or less administrative people? And this, of course, is not what we want. We want to enhance our work, to do better work by the use of AI. And so probably if you're asking for one key element, it will be about reimbursing the use of AI in some way.
How can a radiology workflow be supported by AI? Do you think there's an increase in efficiency, in outcome, in better patient safety?
Yeah, I think there are many applications where you could enhance patient safety. Think about secure identification of patients. Now we have those new CT scanner systems which already have a camera at the ceiling, helping for the positioning of the patient. And imagine that these cameras in the future could also be used to identify the patient, to be sure that the patient on the table is the right patient. So that's a very simple example of enhancing security. You also could think about optimizing protocols to lower the dose for a specific patient. You could take into consideration the previous examinations of a given patient to optimize the dose you're using for the next examination. So there are many examples where AI can really work to enhance security, lower dose, and also, of course, enhance the workflow. Think about work that has been done at Harvard University by the group of Oleg Pianuk about affluence prediction of patients, which could help you in staff planning for radiology. If you know in advance how many people will come to your department, that can help you in scheduling examinations. And of course, in the diagnostic process, but that's something we already have been discussing. If you have like a safety net for your decisions, that is going to help you for your patients.
Do you think there are any limitations or risks in using AI in radiology? And if yes, how should these be addressed?
The problems are discussed largely. I mean, we are discussing about ethics of AI very broadly, and there are risks like bias, discrimination, inequality of healthcare. But if you think about it, on the other hand, AI used in healthcare has also the potential to individualize healthcare and to make better healthcare accessible for a larger portion of the world population. Don't think only about our well-developed countries. I think AI might be even more important for countries that are not at the same stage of development and where, for example, you don't have many radiologists practicing and you have other medical disciplines practicing radiology because there are no radiologists. And that's situations where AI really might be very, very helpful. So it's important to discuss the risk and to reach a consensus on the level within the radiologist population, but also within the general population, about how we are going to handle those risks. But we also have to be aware about the possibilities that AI gives us to enhance our healthcare.
Now, one of the problems, anxieties of radiologists is that AI one day may replace them. How do you address this to your people and to your employees?
I don't think so. That really, I think there's no reason to be afraid that radiologists will be replaced. But this, of course, needs discussion with all radiologists. People are afraid because they don't know enough about AI. Personally, I believe that AI will not replace but augment radiologists. As Curtis Langdorf has been saying, it's not about radiologists being replaced by AI, but rather about radiologists who do not use AI that will be replaced by radiologists using AI.
Yes.
Think about the time before PACS, before we had PACS. When I learned radiology, half of my time was like finding the films with the examinations and putting them onto those light boxes. And today we don't do this anymore because we have the PACS assisting us. And we gained a lot of time. And when I think how young residents are learning radiology today, that's really more intensive than what I did at my time. And I think that was a huge step forward. And probably we will see something similar with AI. And when we look back in 20 years, we will say, well, how could we spend our time looking on those images for nodules without having AI assistance to do this?
What will the future of radiology look like in terms of digital transformation?
I think the future looks really bright for radiology. Radiology is the discipline that is one of the most digitized medical disciplines. And radiologists today are already at the forefront of digital transformation. For us, it's important to be active and visible in this transformation. Only then we have a chance to be even more at the center of patient care in the future. I believe that the future of healthcare will be about how we handle data. And that is where our discipline, radiology, already has a huge advantage when we compare it with other disciplines.
Else,
we have a lot of discussion about AI in radiology and in healthcare today. And in some way, you know, I'm here for a while already, and I saw in the 90s the discussion about monitor reporting. We had many, many conferences about whether it is possible to report a CT or a chest X-ray from a monitor instead of film. And people were really concerned. And we had many, many discussions. We had consensus conferences and everything. And then what happened is that we saw the introduction of modern multi-slice CT scanners. And very quickly, the discussion finished because those scanners started to produce examinations with 400, 500, 600 images per examination. And it was simply not practicable anymore to hang those images on alternators. And that stopped the discussion very quickly. And that was like a tipping point for the introduction of monitor reporting and PACS systems. And I expect that we will see in the near future also some kind of tipping point for the introduction of AI in healthcare, where we realize that it will be simply impossible to continue practice healthcare and radiology without the use of AI systems.
thank you for watching the HealthManagement.org Digitalk on clinical decision support. Do not risk to miss out of any of our updates. Therefore, please subscribe to the HealthManagement.org YouTube channel, as this is the only way to ensure that you are on top of management, leadership, cross-collaboration and winning practices. Thank you very much indeed.